البعينين 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 في خدمتك. لا تضيع الفرصة، الكميات محدودة.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. Authorities in the Pibor administrative area say more than 40 youth were killed over the weekend in cattle-related violence involving local youth and suspected raiders from neighboring Eastern Equatorial State. The judge overseeing the trial of Dr. Riek Machar has set new ground rules for the courtroom, warning that a strict adherence is required to maintain order during the just-started high-profile proceedings. And scientists have discovered that a rare monkey once thought to exist only in Ethiopia has now been officially recorded in South Sudan, which they say has put the country on the global conservation map. These stories and more coming to in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. Authorities in the Pibor administrative area say more than 40 youth were killed over the weekend in cattle-related violence involving local youth and suspected raiders from neighboring Eastern Equatorial State. According to the Information Minister of Greater Pibor, Jacob Werchum, the deadly clashes broke out on Saturday morning after armed men from Kapoita East County in Eastern Equatorial State allegedly attacked a village in Bartet County of Greater Pibor. Warjom said the attackers made off with around 2,500 heads of cattle. However, local youth reportedly ambushed the raiders and managed to recover 2,018 of the stolen animals. He confirmed that 4 youth from Pibor were killed during the recovery effort and another was wounded. Warjum urged authorities in Eastern Equatorial State to take swift action to prevent further escalation and break the cycles of retaliatory attack between the neighboring regions. When contacted for comment, Eastern Equatorial State officials said they had not yet received any official reports confirming the fatal incident. Information Minister Elias Al-Haj stated that the administration in Turit will engage with counterparts in Pibor to verify the report and determine the appropriate response. The judge overseeing the trial of Dr. Riek Machar has set new ground rules for the courtroom, warning that a strict adherence is required to maintain order during the just-started high-profile proceedings. The opening trial of Dr. Machar on Monday was briefly before being adjourned until today at 9 a.m. The adjournment followed the presiding judge, Justice James Alala, issuing a strong set ground rules to maintain order and discipline in the courtroom. Justice Alala stated that while the law guarantees a public trial, all attendees, including the media, have a duty to ensure peace during the proceedings. The rules include a strict ban on movement and talking during proceedings, with attendees required to remain seated while listening quietly. While mobile phones are allowed, they must be kept on silent. He warned that failure to comply would result in immediate removal. The judge stressed that these measures are essential to preserve a serious and respectful environment for the trial. Scientists have discovered that a rare monkey once thought to exist only in Ethiopia has now been officially recorded in South Sudan, which they say has put the country on the global conservation map. They regarded the first ever sighting of Bautoline's blue monkey in Boma National Park as a major milestone for South Sudan's wildlife heritage. The discovery, published in the journal African Primates, followed months of camera trap monitoring by rangers from African parks between June and November last year. A follow-up ground survey in December counted at least 8 groups of the species, totaling nearly 60 individuals in the Boma Plateau forest. Recognizable by its white lips, throat, and ear fringes, the monkey is listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List due to threats like deforestation, habitat loss, and hunting. Until now, the subspecies was believed to be found only in Ethiopia, but researchers say this new evidence officially adds it to South Sudan's primate population. Quoting from the study, scientists wrote, "To the best of our knowledge, this is the first record for Cercopithecus mitis boutellini in South Sudan, end quote. Reacting to the finding, Colonel Charles Lako, Director of Media at the Ministry of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, called it a proud moment for the country and a reminder of South Sudan's rich biodiversity. He thanked researchers and African parks for their work in Boma and said the discovery reinforces the need to protect South Sudan's natural heritage for future generations. But conservationists are warning of increasing threats in the area known as the Great Nile Migration Landscape, including poaching, farming, and climate change. They are calling for stronger protection efforts, including officially gazetting Boma Forest into the national park system and partnering with local communities to preserve this unique ecosystem. African Parks currently manages 23 protected areas across 13 African countries, including South Sudan. This is iRadio Morning News. And now to the international scene. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has pardoned the prominent British-Egyptian activist Alaa Abdel Fattah, who has been in prison for 6 years, the state media and his family has said. Abdel Fattah was one of 6 people whose sentences were commuted following a request from the National Council for Human Rights, according to Al Ghedera News. His sister, Mona Saif, wrote on X, "My heart will explode." The 43-year-old blogger and pro-democracy activist is one of Egypt's best-known political prisoners. He was arrested in 2019 during a crackdown on dissent and sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2021 after being convicted of spreading false news for sharing a post about a prisoner dying after torture. Finally, France has formally recognized a Palestinian state, becoming the latest in a wave of countries to take this step. Speaking at the UN in New York, President Emmanuel Macron said the time for peace has come and that nothing justifies the ongoing war in Gaza. France and Saudi Arabia are hosting a one-day summit at the UN General Assembly focused on plans for a two-state solution to the conflict. G7 states, Germany, Italy, and the US did not attend. Belgium, Luxembourg, Malta, Andorra, and San Marino are also due to recognize a Palestinian state after the UK, Canada, Australia, and Portugal announced recognition on Sunday. This is iRadio Morning News. And to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. Authorities in the Pibor administrative area say more than 40 youth were killed over the weekend in cattle-related violence involving local youth and suspected raiders from the neighboring Eastern Equatorial State. The judge overseeing the trial of Dr. Riek Machar set new ground rules for the courtroom, warning that a strict adherence is required to maintain order during the just-started high-profile proceedings. And scientists have discovered that a rare monkey once thought to exist only in Ethiopia has now been officially recorded in South Sudan, which they say has put the country on the global conservation map. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm Lasuba Memo. Thanks for listening.